introduction to you is unique because I actually had a professional in my network reach out and say, Tom is who you need to talk to. You need to get in touch with him because a big part of the show is talking about how, we have fun with social media, talking about how we can grow our businesses. And that's a big part of what I started the podcast for. So, first and foremost, Tom Webb, welcome to Quoted.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So give me a little background. I've looked obviously at most of your social media stuff, dig into the things that I really like, but give us a little background.
So I'm located in the greater Cincinnati area, specifically over in like the Walnut Hills area, which pretty much there's the 275 loop, and I drive that almost every single day because I travel to meet with clients, business partners, to try to make it convenient for everyone. I definitely rack up the miles on my car. So I say my location is Cincinnati. My office is in Lebanon. That's where I'm sitting right now. That's, if you take 71 north, it's about 35 minutes north of Cincinnati. But otherwise, I'm everywhere. It just depends on where my clients' needs are. So I do residential mortgages, and that would be either a purchase or a refinance on a house that has 1 to 4 units. That can be for someone who wants to occupy it, is an owner-occupant primary residence, or that could be for an investor. But the big thing is that it's 1 to 4 units. My biggest focus is purchase business. I have some really, really good relationships in the real estate community, really all around the tri-state area, and just really I enjoy myself while I do it. And I think that kind of rubs off on my clients. It's a more enjoyable experience for them because I enjoy it.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's really cool about this interview, because we do edit it, and I've talked to you about that, but a big part of what you do is live videos, and I think that's super genuine. Walk us through the early parts of that.
So over the past year and a half or so, I've actually been seeking mentorship from a lot of influencers in the business, not necessarily locally either. With the internet, Facebook, all that stuff, you can connect with just about anyone you want. And I've reached out to people that are doing my job at a high level, and most people are, eager to explain how they're doing it. And one of the consistent themes that I started seeing with people that I was aligning with, personality-wise, was that they were doing videos, Facebook Live, whether it just be in the car, sticking your phone on a magnet, holder on your dashboard and flipping the camera around and just talking while you're driving to your appointment, or doing something on a much deeper level with a videographer and really putting together a nice piece of video. But a lot of the people that were doing this, that I was aligning with and reaching out to, were encouraging me to do it. For a while, I would actually make videos on my phone, and it was the same thing in my car. I would drive to an appointment and say, hey, I'm going to start doing video like they're telling me to. And I would look at it and I would say, this is stupid. No one's going to like this. I can't do this. And I may have rehearsed the video 15, 20, sometimes 30 times before I got something that I thought was presentable to my audience. And there was just one day, I honestly don't remember what actually triggered it. If it was just, a compulsion to just take action. And I just said, I'm screw it. I'm doing this. I'm going to post this video that I just recorded now, and I'm just going to see what happens. And it went fairly well. Part of the reason why I got a decent amount of interaction and views and comments on the first video I did was I already had built up a strong social media following before that. So I already had networked quite a bit on social media, had a friends list that was close to, I want to say like 3,000 at that point. And a lot of the people on my friends list are, potential clients that, or real estate agents that could use my services. So, I just forced myself to do videos until that one day that I actually took the plunge and posted one, and it was very successful. One of my mentors was having a live coaching session with me and a few other loan officers, and he was, and this was after I had started doing videos, but I never thought of it this way. He said, if you go out, get dressed, and go out in public every day, you're not worrying about fumbling over your words. You're not worried about if you've got the perfect angle, on your face when people are looking at you. You're just out there operating like a regular human being. And honestly, the video is the same. They don't necessarily want perfect.
That you do, for lack of a better term, teach people a lot about social media marketing. Mm-hmm. And can you walk me through what that looks like?
So how I really put together my whole social media platform was working with several other professionals, not even necessarily in the mortgage business. Yes, I have influencers that may have impacted me more than others, but I started following people that did this at a high level, and I observed, and I tried to mold it to what worked for me. So there's no set way, one way that I would instruct someone on how to run their own social media page. It's not something that I feel like you can just hire someone to do for you, especially on the organic side of the of social media marketing. Authenticity is the biggest part of it. So I think what I'm able to do with other loan officers, agents, and primarily a lot of the people that I'm helping with this are real estate agents. They're someone that really can add great value to my business. And, I finally found something that I'm really, really good at that can actually benefit them. So I help people push through that phase of, okay, should I do this or should I not? What's good content? A lot of it is really not selling your own service. They're not hammering the client or their friends on Facebook with, do business with me. It's not a hard sell. It's, hey, this is a real issue that comes up in the home buying process. If you're thinking about buying, please don't make this mistake. The other part that I've done that's a little different, and I've twisted humor, it's honestly like my personality. I grew up in a family that we're all practical jokers and all professionals too. I mean, my dad's a business owner. He owns multiple businesses, very successful man, but he likes to joke. He likes to have fun. And I took that from him. My sister, she took it from him too. She always jokes. She's the class clown kind of person. And my sister's older than me. And, she used to, give me crap all the time. And it's just the personality. Like, we like to have fun. We like to goof around with our friends, our families. What it does is, and I would teach other people to do this, and not necessarily the same way, like their thing might not be humor. Don't just do humor to mimic the way I'm doing it. Let people know who you are. And that's what I usually would advise someone to do, is to go out there and be yourself and show people who you are. What that does business-wise is it attracts people who agree with you. If I'm a goofy guy that likes joking around, and yes, my business is very serious, but I like having fun, I'm going to attract real estate professionals that like to goof around and have fun. I'm going to attract clients that like to goof around and have fun.
Based on your interaction as a business owner online, with the social media side of things that you do with your business, I always like to ask people, what are the things that other businesses do on a social media side of things that really either attract you to their business or let you know this probably isn't going to be a fit?
Honestly, what attracts me to other businesses on social media is authenticity. So if I see someone that's creating their own content and they're being themselves, it doesn't seem like they're forcing something, that makes me more apt to continue to watch their video, to comment on their content. If it's just like someone sharing the same video that everyone shared, someone is copying the same generic post that everyone else is doing, and that's all they do, that's really not going to intrigue me. And it's not going to intrigue consumers in general to that person, because everyone can tell when you're not making your own content. It's the same stuff that's been recycled and recycled and recycled. You make your own content, you take a little bit of time. It doesn't take a huge time commitment to do this. I time block. People see the crazy, hectic, funny Tom on Facebook, and some people may come to the assumption that, I'm just, wild, wild west over here. But I time block. I have systems in place. I know how to go from point A to point B on varying levels of my business in a very efficient way. But I still make my own content. And that's partially because I structure that into my schedule the same way I structure my other priorities into my schedule. I take an hour a day and I focus on it. Now, that might seem like a lot, but if the ROI is there, an hour a day is not so bad. The 9 to 5 does change on a daily basis. I have different time blocks structured for each day. Now, in a sales capacity, you always have to be out there trying to create new sales. So a big part of my day is doing income generating activities, and those are going to be different every single day. It keeps it fresh. It's not like every day I'm doing the same thing. I would get bored. You can see me. I'm like, I can't even sit in this chair right now. I would get bored. But even before I get to that, I start early. And this is newer. For 2019, I've been working on prioritizing my physical health as much as I'm prioritizing my business and my family and my friends. I kind of put my physical health on the back burner behind everything else. So I'm waking up at 5 a.m. and running 4 miles a day to get my mindset straight, get your endorphins revved up, and it gives you that like a runner's high, like where you're just like hyper focused. So I'm getting up early doing that, and then I listen to some audiobooks on my way to the office. I usually spend about half an hour listening to an audiobook every day that's typically either sales or personal development related, because it's just my way of self-educating while I'm on the road. Like, why not spend that time learning something new? A lot of the people that are doing things on a very high level specific to what I'm doing on social media, I haven't actually formally, I haven't read their books. I haven't followed their podcast. Like, I've just kind of started, I molded what I'm doing based off of a lot of professionals in my industry. And somehow it's the fundamentals that they've taught have came into place. And back to the average flow of a day. So I listen to my audiobooks, and then I try to get the day-to-day planning and paperwork on my end that I have to do lined up and squared away in the morning, so that the afternoon I can focus on new business and income generating activities. And, I can go out and get in my car and drive around town and do what I need to do to develop new business. I don't want to go too deep into like what each time block is on everything, but after that, it's literally, I follow my time blocks and attend the meetings that I've scheduled throughout the week that my time blocks have essentially, by doing those activities, have set those meetings. Come out and say this often, but mortgages suck. There's nothing fun about a mortgage. They're not cool. They're not exciting. They're a necessary evil. No one says, oh, let's go get a mortgage. It'll be fun. That sounds like a good old time. Let's get a mortgage. No, you have mortgages so that you can finance a home. The fun part is, getting into that home after closing and having that place that you can call home. What myself, and I can't even give myself all the credit on this, I never would, my team, they're the best in the business at this. We have systems in place where when we have a client that wants to be pre-approved, we can bring them in, we can have them fully underwritten before they've ever looked at a house, and then it's all just going to be pending a satisfactory appraisal and title. Where that's super beneficial is when you're in a market that's competitive, and it's still competitive. I mean, it was even hotter a couple months ago. It was big time sales market, but you're still going into multiples in this market as far as, offers on homes. I've had numerous occasions where, based on our process and how we handle things up front so that there's not a bunch of, bumps in the road after you go under a contract, I call the listing agent when my client submits an offer. And with the connections I've developed through social media and through just general networking and shaking hands in the business and actually producing and showing these results in real life, a lot of people have dealt with me or they know someone that's dealt with me. And I can say, hey, I'm not here to negotiate the contract. I'm going to stay in my lane. That's not my place. But here's the deal. If your seller accepts this offer, we're going to close, and we're going to close on time, because I've already crossed my T's and dotted my I's. My client is ready to roll. So I just wanted you to know that if they accept that offer, it's going to close, and it's going to close on time. If you have any questions, give me a call. But again, I'm not here for negotiations. I'm going to stay in my lane. Just wanted to give you that information. Had numerous occasions where the listing agent either had already known me, and I didn't have to do the whole spiel with them, because it was just like, hey, I'm Tom. You worked with me on this deal, and you remember, like, we closed like 2 weeks early. Well, that'll happen again if your seller, does this. But I had multiple occasions where the listing agent had multiple offers on the property, and they go and present it to their seller, and they said, you know what? We got one from Click Bing Boom Mortgage, online mortgage, rocket ship, and we got one from, Big Bank, ABC Big Bank, and then we got one from Tom Webb. And you know what? I worked on a deal with him, or I know a guy that worked on a deal with him. He crosses his T's, he dots his I's. If we work with him, we accept his client's offer. I feel more confident that that's going to close on time without any hiccups. And we've actually won in situations where there was identical offers, and even in cases where we had a little bit less attractive offer, because the seller ended up being more comfortable with my buyer's offer because they knew that we've crossed our T's and dotted our I's. So it's very systematic, despite the, funny image that I portray on social media. Very systematic from start to finish. And big part of that is I have an amazing team that makes all that stuff happen for me.
Where should people start following along if they're interested in all things Tom Webb?
Well, First, they should add me on Facebook, my personal page. It's Tom Webb. You'll see right now the profile picture says Officer of the Loan. I have a hoodie that says that. It's kind of this funny hoodie I put together that ties into some of my other marketing that I had on social media.
Well, like I said at the beginning of this, I was really excited because a lot of times I'm interviewing people that I've interacted with for a year or so. And you came, obviously I follow along now, but someone came to us and said, look, this fits right into the goals and the kind of aim of what Quoted is all about. And today I always tell people, I look at podcasts and I learn from them. I look at those as the classrooms that maybe didn't exist before. YouTube is a classroom if you let it kind of fold out that way. And what you're working on, Tom, and kind of the stuff that you laid out today meant a lot. It was something that I think a lot of people can learn from. And I can't thank you enough for coming on Quoted today.
Yeah, thanks, man. It was awesome going on my first podcast. So I appreciate you having me, and we'll see if I can figure out this whole podcast thing one of these days.
Let's go.